At age 16, I left home, went to St. Louis, as most young people did in those days, to get work. And after working a few different places and that for just a short time, I had an uncle. Matter of fact, one uncle on my mom's side, two on my dad's side, told me that I should get something. So if I went into the military, I would have seniority building up and would have a job to come back to, because at that time, if you had a job when you left, if you wanted to go back to it, well, it was the law that they had to take you back. So anyway, I went to Purex Corporation. My first day there was June the 12th of 1944. I was 16 and began working in the plant. At that time it was on Chippewa and Kings Highway. And World War II was going on, and it was sort of a popular war at that time, and I wanted to be a soldier, but I wasn't old enough. And later that year, I was 17, and in the fall of 45, I had my 18th birthday. I'd already went to the draft board and told them that I wanted to register and wanted to meet introduction. And they took me at my word, and I registered. And they took me to J.B. or Jefferson Birch in St. Louis, is where he was inducted at that time in World War II, at the end of World War II. And I was sworn into the military, and sworn in at 10 o'clock one morning. And one thing that I had kidded about quite a lot, he took the oath, he stepped one step forward. And I remember the floor being full of cigarette butts. A lot of guys were there to be sworn in. And as soon as I made that step forward, they said, "You are a soldier now." And they handed us a broom and started sweeping and cleaning up. But that same day, at 10 o'clock that night, they had us at the train station downtown St. Louis. Normally they give their new recruits uniform, but they said they were without. So they put us on a train that night at 10 o'clock, and we shipped to an Army base in Fort Leavenworth, Kansas, sort of a holdover base. And we rode the train all night, got there the next day, and that was my beginning of the military in that. And I was there, they kept me busy doing odds and ends for about 2 weeks. And then maybe a little longer than that, but they would ship us to Camp Crowder, Missouri, to begin our basic training. We got part of the way there, and they told us that the camp was quarantined in with measles and that, so they held us up for a while, and finally put us on a troop train and sent us to Fort Lewis, Washington, which is in Tacoma, Washington. And so there, after getting recruited, when we got there, they had lost all of our records. They failed to ship them on there. They went on to Camp Crowder. There was about 2 weeks that we weren't supposed to be there, and they finally decided they would feed us and give us a place to sleep. But after about 2, maybe 2.5 weeks, they shipped us over to where the training base was at, and to begin our basic training. And it was very, very difficult, very rough. I thought I was strong enough to handle anything, but they give us 17 weeks of hand-to-hand combat training. And lot of marching, a lot of walking, a lot of sleeping out in the field in pup tents, training how to fire different rifles and machine guns. And also we had to crawl under machine gun fire that was 30 inches over our head, and they would dig. We had ditches dug sort of like a grave. You had to run and roll over. They had tanks run, and you had to run. The tanks run over the top of you, and you really learned to hug the ground. And anyway, after 15, 17 weeks of combat training, they give us what they call in those days a delayed route. They give us so many days to get to Camp Stoneman, California. So I had enough days and time that I caught a train through St. Louis, back to St. Louis, and had just a few days with my mom and dad, family, and then got back on the train and went on to California. And we were there a few weeks and were processing and taking a lot of additional shots and that. And they put us on a ship at San Francisco, California, to ship us to Japan. This was February of 1946. The atomic bomb had been dropped in 1945, and there was a ceasefire. The army was the battle, war was not declared over, but so we was on ship going for about 16 days and landed out in the harbor of Honshu Island and on amphibious boats, and that they took us into land. And the war was supposed to have been over. There's still a lot of things going on in that, so they started putting us out to try to clean up, clear out machine gun nests and caves for people, because a lot of the Japanese soldiers didn't know that the war was over, and some of them didn't want to give up in that. So we did that for some time. Then they took us into one town and put us in some servant buildings of the castle in Osaka. We were there a while, and then of course the older fellows, some of them they let come home, and us younger guys, they started assigning us to various units. I was in the 240th Combat Engineer Division, and they began to switch it over to what they call the 240th Construction Engineer Battalion, so that we could start cleaning up and rebuilding. When I got on land, there was nowhere you could put your foot for all the bombing, the atomic bomb and everything. It just blowing everything completely to asunder in that, and it was almost unbelievable. Of course, I'm just a kid, 18 years old. I just did what your leaders told you to and everything, and so then I was signed to a motor pool, and the sergeant of the motor tour took a liking to me right away and gave me a PFC rank, and I was trained to drive the big 6x6 Army trucks and that. So then they give me a job instructing other new recruits coming and that. And there wasn't traffic then like it would be today, but downtown Tokyo and those places, I was taking guys to learn how to drive the big trucks and that. That went on for a while, and then finally they needed somebody to survey Honshu Island, work all over Honshu Island, drawing sketches. So they brought into existence what was called the 1603rd Engineering Map Depot, and we were attached to the 240th Engineer Construction Unit. And again, for some reason I was chosen, gave me a T5 rank and put me over that. But we traveled all over Honshu Island and trying to clear out, clean up, and drawing sketches, maps to send back to the headquarters so they would know where to go and what to do and so forth. So I spent my time on the island and that most of my time, and so that was my experience there. We went through many things, and many things we were told not to tell. If we did, we'd be court-martialed and that. I got gassed a couple of times and out, and they had big tents they called field hospitals, and they brought me to, because sometimes we would try to throw out a cave or foxholes and that, and they had all those gas masks. We had gas masks, but sometimes we didn't put them on. That mustard gas was really rough. But anyway, I helped rebuild, get ready to Huntsville Island, and on April the 9th of 1947, I left Japan and shipped back to America. And we came back into San Francisco, California, and they sent us down to Camp Beale, and I was processed there. And any furlough time we built, we came on home, and on the day that our time had run out, they mailed our discharges to us. I had a disability number and paper that they'd given me to turn in to JB Barracks when I got back, and so I ended up back in St. Louis in April 1940.